It's now a $400 billion market cap. It was $40 billion when we started. I've said for a long time I thought it was going to be $1 to $2 trillion. With what developments have taken place recently, I think $2 trillion is the right number. So I think it's 5 times from here.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, I'm reacting to a few clips from a recent CNBC interview with billionaire investor Ron Barron, famous for investing heavily in Tesla stock. In this video, Ron Barron discusses his thoughts around Tesla, the future potential for the stock price, and his investment philosophy. So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you live in the US and would like up to 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 each, use the link in the description to WeBull and deposit $100 in your account. Each of these stocks will be a minimum of $8 in value. So if you suck at math, that is a 16% ROI on $100. Not bad. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Of course, the chairman and CEO of Barron Capital, Ron's longstanding support for Tesla is widely known. Remember, he bought shares of Tesla back at about $40 a share back in 2016 when he couldn't persuade any other managers to invest. Today, it is the top holding in the Barron Partners Retail Fund. It makes up more than 45% of the fund's weight.
You know, I think I just realized why I like Ron so much. He started buying Tesla stock in 2016. So did I. It's now his biggest position. Same here.
This year happens to be an exceptional year for us. This is probably the best year we've ever had. I looked in the New York Times this past weekend. There was when they talked about the stock market, and they talked about how funds are doing, they gave the top 10 funds in the third quarter. And Barron Partners Fund was number 1. It was up 47.2% in the quarter. And Barron Focused Growth Fund was number 2. And it was up 43 or 44% in the quarter. And both of those funds are up 70 or 80% for the year. And our fund of funds, which is a fund investing only in Barron mutual funds, that's up 32, 33 at the end of the quarter, and it's up 38, 39 right now. So we've had a career year.
But how much of that is because of Tesla? Because if you watch the ones, Tesla is such a huge part of your funds at this point, and that stock has had a pretty phenomenal year.
In those two stocks, in those two funds, it's a very important part. It represents, as you said, 35 or 40% of each of those funds. And that stock is up 10 times in the past 2 years or 3 years.
Now, this is my style of investing. I'd much rather make far fewer decisions, but those that I do make come from a place of extreme conviction because I've researched deeply the opportunity, understand what I'm looking at, and can't not go big. Ron's results speak for themselves. The guy has got 30 to 40+% of the fund's values in a single stock. And the result, because of that conviction, big brains, big balls, big position, big results.
We invested in it between 2014 and 2016. We invested $300 million, $320 million for 1.6 million shares. At that time, it's now 8 million shares, 5-for-1 split. So it's $40 a share, as you said. And the stock's now 400 or 420. And when we invested, and I was on your program, I was talking about how I believe we would make 20 times our money over 10 or 15 years. And so far, in the first 4 or 5 years that we've owned it, the stock went up and down like a yo-yo, and that would be expected because what they were doing is they were building facilities, hiring people, coming up with design. It's a reasonable thing to bet against them. All these car companies, 50 of them have failed, and this guy somehow had made it through sheer willpower and raised capital. Now he has 50,000 employees, and he has factories he's building. But Tesla's now building on 3 different continents, building in the United States, building in China, building in Germany. And you should expect more factories to be built continuously over the next 10 years.
With Tesla's current annual vehicle output at around 500,000 units and a goal of over 20 million units by the end of this decade, we certainly are going to see continual construction of new factories and facilities to ramp production, no end in sight. If, for any reason, before 2030, Tesla is no longer increasing its annual capacity in terms of vehicles, battery products, etc., something's gone wrong.
Well, it's certainly gotten bigger and steadier, but you mentioned the volatility. Do you think the stock has passed the days of volatility because it's gotten on steadier ground, or do you worry that some of the Robinhood investors and others who have been so attracted to what Tesla has to offer, if there's any sort of shakeout in the market, does that impact them, and would volatility come back?
Well, what we worry about are not stock prices. when we're an investor in a business, we worry about the business.
Oh, Ron, you're so crazy. You don't care about the stock price. You only care about what the business is doing. What are you, a smart investor? Oh.
And the short term, I can't have any clue about what's going to happen. I do think that it's now a $400 billion market cap. It was $40 billion when we started. I've said for a long time I thought it was going to be $1 to $2 trillion. With what developments have taken place recently, I think $2 trillion is the right number. So I think it's 5 times from here.
Ron and I are definitely on the same page here. I've been saying for quite a while, especially in my private Patreon Q&As, that I think Tesla's going to multiple trillion-dollar valuation by the end of this decade. Whether it's 2, 3 or 4, who knows? There's going to be a lot of uncertainty around the autonomous piece of the puzzle and software revenue. But irrespective of that, my baseline case for Tesla 2030 is a $2+ trillion valuation.
Made 10 times in the past 2 or 3 years, but for 4 years before that, the stock didn't change and the business grew tenfold. So the business went from $2.8 billion to $30 billion 10 times. The stock price didn't change. Now the stock price just caught up to where they were.
Ron is really singing my song here. I spent a few years screaming from the rooftops to everybody who'd listen, which it turns out wasn't really anybody. So kind of had to start a YouTube channel to amplify my voice even further, because I'm like, guys, have you not noticed 2014 to 2019 Tesla stock has done nothing, yet their revenue, their production, their sales, pick your number, through the roof? Hello? I mean, I don't advise doing so little research, but just for example's sake, if you only had 2 data points on Tesla, the stock price and their revenue data between 2014 and 2019, you probably could have used that alone to make a reasonably intelligent investment decision. Why would the stock price have done absolutely nothing, yet revenue has 10x'd over the same period? Why would that happen? I'll tell you why. FUD in the media, people not understanding what they're looking at, people buying the BS, people thinking Tesla's an automaker when they're not, people not understanding and missing the opportunity. Even Cathie Wood called this.
You, as a trader and investor, but as a trader also, understand that when you build a base like that, one of 2 things is going to happen. It's either going to break down, and that's what a lot of the bears have been betting on, and they've been throwing everything at it, or it's going to break out. Clearly, we believe is going to break out. And the longer the base, you say 5 years, the longer the base, the bigger the breakout. So we're really looking forward to that.
Now I think that the business is going to go from 30 or 35 billion in sales, grow 50% a year. I think they're going to be doing 5 or 6 or 7 or $800 million in sales in 10 years on just the cars. And the batteries is another unbelievable business, which I'm very excited about. And I think that with that kind of with that kind of results, you're going to see a 5 times appreciation. I was thinking 3 to 5 times. We made 10 times so far, 3 to 5 times to come in the next 10 years. Two more doubles, maybe 3 more doubles in 10 years is what the expectation is. So we're very excited about that.
I'm very curious, so let me know in the comments below, guys. Over the next 10 years, what do you expect Tesla stock will do? 1x, 2x, 10x, 4 trillionx? Let me know. As for where I think Tesla stock's headed over the next 10 years, for a detailed, in-depth analysis, head over to the merch store where I've created some t-shirt designs which sum up my thoughts precisely.
And what we do is we invest in companies that are continuously investing in themselves, penalizing the current results, and when they do that, the stock prices reflect that element of penalizing earnings.
Alright, time to play a little game called Guess Who.
Tesla can't make any money, they're going bankrupt, no profit, they're not profitable, they're going bankrupt, short Tesla.
You want to know who I was? Pretty much every Wall Street analyst ever for the last 5 years, because they had no fucking concept of investing for future growth. Now, I don't want to be too harsh on Wall Street. They're quite capable of self-immolation without the need for me to add any fuel to the fire. But honestly, guys, I mean, was it really that hard to figure out where the money was going and why?
And as a result, they're less expensive than they would be. And so when companies ever announce that they're making these investments in the businesses to grow bigger, then what happens is that the stock prices go down. And that's when we have a chance to buy more. So we are always buying, but we're buying more when stock prices go, and we're always holding it. Well, if you think something like Tesla is going to go from 30 or 35 billion in sales to 600 or 700 billion in sales in 10 years, so 20 times, Is that overpriced right now?
That's a really good question, Ron, isn't it? Those of you who've been following the channel for a while will know my position on this. I'm still buying Tesla stock today at around 10 times what I was paying just a few years ago because I have a long-term investment horizon and I still think there's plenty of room to go. If I knew of a better investment opportunity at this point in time, I would be investing in it. Now, I'm sure there's plenty out there, but I don't know of them. So my money's still every spare cent going into Tesla stock.
How many businesses that you think are like that? And then when you think about their business, they have, when they did this battery day, they described how the suppliers weren't keeping up with them. NVIDIA wasn't developing the chips fast enough, so therefore they had to develop their own chip. And the reason NVIDIA wasn't doing that was because they were supplying other car companies who didn't need the chips as rapidly as Tesla did. Volkswagen, by the way, is going to be very successful in autonomous cars. Most of these other guys, in electric cars, most of these other guys are having difficulty. So what I think about the opportunities that these businesses have are so enormous, and for most businesses, they're going to have to change models, and people want to invest in growth. They want to invest in business and growing. Will Danoff talked about how he wants to invest in companies that are going to triple in size in 5 years. Here's a company that they think is going to grow 20 times in 5 years. What's the right multiple? And then for that, you're not even including what's going to happen when they go to autonomous driving, what's going to happen when they go to ride sharing, what's going to happen when they have a battery that's more powerful than others. They take out the stop signs on the highway, use different materials, and therefore you get 500 miles for a charge. And where are the batteries going to come from? The batteries are the critical point that's stopping the company from growing even faster, getting enough batteries. So they make the money, investments in research for chips. They make the money, they invest money for batteries because the battery companies aren't investing fast enough.
Does anyone else get the feeling Tesla is incredibly impatient and will continue to take charge of their future and make sure they are masters of their destiny? NVIDIA can't make a good enough chip? No problems. We'll design one in-house. Give us 2 or 3 years. Next minute, industry-leading chip. Oh, we're limited by battery supply. Our suppliers can't make enough batteries for us and they're a little bit too expensive. Why don't we just invent our own battery cells and our own production system? Next minute, battery invest today. Kind of get the point, right?
By the way, I also, when I go to restaurants and we sit on terraces, people comment to me and they say, oh, there's the Tesla guy. Oh, there's the Tesla guy because of you, the Tesla guy. And what I want to be known as ultimately is not just the Tesla guy, but also the SpaceX guy. And this is too early for me to really talk about it. It's a private company still, and a valuation on the company is now 43, 44 billion. And we're an investor in that, probably on 1% of the company. And what I think in that one is, well, I'm thinking about Tesla. We've made 10 times so far, 3 to 5 to come, so we'll make 30 to 50 overall. And in SpaceX, I think that has a chance to be just as large as Tesla. We'll see. But in the next couple of years, I'm going to be talking to you a lot more about SpaceX than I'm going to be able to do right now.
Can't wait to hear what Ron has to say about SpaceX in the future. For those of you who don't know, Ron's quite close to Elon. They have private discussions and conversations, so Ron is privy to a lot of information that the public markets don't know about because SpaceX is private. Can't wait to hear some of those nuggets of wisdom, some of those gems and some insights into the company and their future plans when Ron is finally allowed to talk. And as for Tesla, I'm with Ron. I think they've still got plenty of growth ahead of them, and I really admire Ron's style of investment. High conviction, large positions, and forget all the noise. What's the business doing? Who cares about the stock market in general? What is the business doing? Are they executing? Great. And if not, maybe time to reconsider things. While everybody's been looking at Tesla's stock price, thinking they're losing money and not seeing the forest for the trees, folks like Ron, Kathy Wood at ARK Invest, etc. have actually seen what's going on. An innovative, disruptive company investing heavily in scale, and now they're at a stage where they're extremely profitable, they're in a dominant position, and I don't see anyone running them down. As I've said many times, Tesla has won the decade. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and stake using the links below. Open a new WeBull account, deposit $100 and you'll get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600. And stake, spin the roulette wheel, you'll either get Nike, GoPro or Dropbox. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.